Hello and welcome. My name is Freya and today we will do a yin yoga flow that will focus on the hips. So we're going to need a mat, and if you have a block or some books and a blanket or some pillows will work as well. I would really recommend that you bring it. And then I'll recommend that you are close to a wall as well, that you can have your legs up and don't need tons of space. I'm just going to use this little gap here. So let's get started. We're going to start in a downward facing dog. So we're only doing this starting in downward facing dog because our first pose is pigeon pose, or swan as we call it in yin yoga. So we're going to take our left leg and we're going to place our left foot behind our right wrist, and then we're going to put our left knee to the outside of the mat. And then we're just going to let our right leg track back straight onto the mat. So right now we're sitting up here. You're welcome to take your pillow, fold a blanket and put it underneath your hips. I will show you. So that you're sitting on it like this. And this will gain a little bit more height, which can make it a little bit more comfortable, just a little bit of release there, or relief. Try to have your hips squared so that your hips are facing the front of the mat. So the front of your hips is at the front of the mat. So we're not opening up like this, but our hips are straight like this. It should help with the pillow or the blanket. And then we're gonna come down to our forearms here. And we're gonna stay in this pose for 5 minutes. So if you feel a stretch now, you can just stay. You can take your block, place it in front of you, and then you can lean your head on it so that you can relax here. You're also welcome to take your blanket. I like to place it underneath my chest, and then I track my arms straight forward in front of me and put my head down. Whoops, I'm just gonna turn this around. So arms are straight out in front of me and head on the floor. You stay wherever is accessible for you today, wherever is comfortable. I will say that if your knee is wider than your hip, it is easier to have your hip squared to the front. So start to feel your breath here. Where can you feel it? Where are you breathing? Are you breathing through your nose? Are you breathing through your mouth? And where do you feel the stretch on your left side here? Maybe you feel it in your glutes. Maybe you feel it in your lower back. Maybe you can feel it in most of your thigh. See if you can use your exhales to relax and let go of any tension. You can gently come on up here, come up onto your forearms. If you're not already, if you are, you can lift your head. And then you can come up onto your hands. Just gonna gently come out of the pose here, moving any of the props that you've been using. And then you're gonna tuck your right toe and lift yourself up gently, coming into a tabletop position. And from our tabletop, we're just going to straighten that left leg out very gently. Nice. And then just rock a little bit back and forward, just so we wake it up a little bit from being tucked in. It can be quite intense when you stay in the pose for that long. Nice. Okay, so from here we're going to push ourselves up into our downward dog again. And then we're going to do the same on the right side. So we're going to place our right foot underneath our left wrist, and then we're going to take our right knee all the way out to the edge of the mat. Like I said before, if you have your knee wider than your hip, that will make it easier and more comfortable to be in the pose. Then our hips will square towards the front of the mat. Our right leg straight down behind us. You're welcome to take your blanket or a pillow underneath your seat, and then you're just going to come into the pose just like we did before. However is more comfortable for you. Most likely this side will feel different from the other side. It's just the way it is. Maybe it is more tight on your right side, maybe it's less. Usually it will depend on how much you use your leg throughout the day. However is comfortable for you, you just find stillness in your pose. Finding your breath here on the right side. So how is this side feeling compared to your left? Perhaps you can feel more or less tension. Or maybe you can just feel that it's tight and tense in other places than your left side. Use your breath here just like on the other side. So on your exhales, you let go of any tension you're carrying on this right side. Can gently now come up. First, we come up onto our forearms. If we are on our forearms already, we're going to raise our head up. We're just gently coming out of the pose. Next, we're going to put our hands onto the ground, pushing ourselves up, removing any of the props that we may have been using. From here, we're going to tuck our left toes and then gently push ourselves up and into our tabletop. From here, we're straightening our left leg, and then we're going to just rock back and forward. Very nice. So for this next pose, we're going to come onto lying on our back. The next pose we're getting into is happy baby. So come to lying on your back, but bring your blanket or your pillow with you, or both if you have both. And we're going to come lying on our back. And then we're going to have our legs come up into the sky, bending the knees and reaching for our feet, holding from the side of the pinky toe, and then just gently, gently opening up. So again, we're going to be here for 5 minutes, so please make sure that you're not going too deep. This can be very intense. You are welcome if your lower back is hovering off the floor. You're welcome to put a blanket underneath it. like so. And that will help it will help reaching the feet as well if you're struggling to reach your feet. Take a little bit of that pressure off, but you still get a really good stretch in your hips. So with our swan pose, pigeon pose before, we were targeting the outer hips, and now in our happy baby, it's very much focusing on the inner thighs and the inside of our hips. So find a comfortable place here. Don't pull down too much, because we do have to stay here for a while. Making sure that lower back touches the ground, as well as your shoulders and your shoulder blades. We want the head on the floor as well. And then the knees are tracking down towards the mid of the body, out on each side. Nice and open here. Try to relax your shoulders so we don't create tension in our neck. And relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your jaw. Relax your tongue. Try to notice here how your sides are feeling. So how is the right side feeling compared to the left? Maybe one is more tight than the other. Use your breath to breathe into any discomfort or any tension that you must be feeling here. Now we're gently going to come out of the pose. So what we're going to do is we're going to just let our heels go down towards the back of our thighs. And then we're going to take our hands and gently push our knees together. Very gently, very slowly. From here, you're going to put the soles of your feet onto your mat. And then we're going to walk our feet heel-toe out to the edges until you find the edges of your mat. Very nice. And Your knees stay together here, so we're kind of creating a little triangle. But what we're really doing is we're just stretching a little bit of the outside of our hips and our thighs, because we're countering the stretch that we just had. Take a moment here to reconnect with your breath. From here, we're going to just straighten our legs out. Just straighten them out gently, very gently. You can probably feel it in the front of your thighs, and we're going to just give them a little bit of a shake here. Nice. So gently come up to a seat, and then we're going to come into our last pose of the day. So now is when we need the wool, and I like to just have my blanket underneath my wool here like this, and then we're gonna go and do a legs up the wall pose. So start by coming to sit in front of your wall like this. You're gonna kind of sit in the middle of your mat or the middle of your blanket, if that's what you have, like me. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to just turn around gently and then lie down onto our backs. So we want to start by just making sure that our back is straight on the floor. Then we're going to put our arms down our sides. We're going to keep our legs bent for now. And then you're just going to gently walk your legs up to where it's comfortable. Maybe you're here with your legs bent. Maybe this is where it's comfortable. We don't want to feel too intense of a stretch in our hamstrings here. Maybe you walk your legs a little bit further up. Arms out to the side. You can have your arms in a T, or you can have your arms next to you. And then we're just going to breathe. I want you to just connect with your breath here. Try and notice where you're breathing. How does it feel? So you can stay in this pose for as long as you need, or you're welcome to come meet me in a seated position. Just come up gently. You can keep your eyes closed here, or you can just gaze down on the ground in front of you. Rest your hands on your knees or on your thighs. I'm just going to take a couple more breaths. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope this was exactly what your hips were looking for, and I hope to see you in the next one.